Greetings, I'm Stephen.
And this is Robert.
And we are a portion of G.I. Joburg. A little while ago, good friend of mine and family man and father of some raucous young men, gave me the suggestion, the idea, to do another commentary. This is something that I always regard as quite self-indulgent. I mean, it's not like we're, Chris Nolan or Alan Silvestri, James Cameron. But we are here to provide a commentary to Graduation Day.
Yes, because the last one went really good. I thought Atlantis Factor was like, ooh.
And we really enjoy it as well. It's like we get to put out the same content, just with our voices. Which, take it or leave it. I certainly hope this finds its audience. Graduation Day, of course, was a very special little project. One that marked, at least for me, the culmination of the GoFundMe. Because it came towards the end of the process, and at that time, we were offering quite an ephemeral reward. I mean, this is the term that Rob liked to throw around.
I love saying that.
It became important that we had a lot of small donations as opposed to large individual donations. I felt it important to kind of canvas a wide portion of the fan base and the G.I. Joe community and tell everyone, like, guys, we don't need a lot of money, we just need a lot of support. So $5 is all you need to have a vote, to have a say in what our next G.I. Joe adventure would be.
And people said what they wanted, and Stephen made charts, he made flow charts and stuff, made a couple of flubs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, and in the end of the day, I think the majority did take it, albeit quite tight in some regards. Surprise, surprise, or not surprising at all, G.I. Joe fans, and particularly fans of the G.I. Joburg channel, are fans of absolute G.I. Joe. Yeah. We don't want to water it down with the Transformers or other, I don't know, non-G.I. Joe-esque toy lines. So as a result, the options that rose to the top of the pile were, as protagonists, Sargent Slaughter and the second season of the Sunbow cartoon G.I. Joe Squad, so the 1986 team. The antagonists was G.I. Joe's perennial opponent in the sort of in the lower price bracket, the core international heroes, with some of the most priceless characters populating it. The vehicle pool to be used, I mean, one of the options was the Defiant launch complex, but what beat out the Defiant was actually the Power Team Elite motor pool.
It's fascinating. It's like, you could have the Defiant in the video, guys, and you chose Power Team Elite. Okay.
Well, you gotta love them Hummers and Blackhawks, man, because PTE... Hey, look, I wouldn't have been quite as happy playing with the Defiant in the sand, so I was just only too thrilled to have, the Rubber Tire Brigade, the sort of the generics to throw around and involve in some heavy maneuvers. And the scenario that our backers chose was defend the base. I mean, there were various other options like kind of infiltration or search and destroy or a rescue mission. But no, the one that rose to the fore, which is ironic because Atlantis Factor kind of built towards a similar scenario.
Yeah.
Defending the 1983 HQ. But I guess guys just can't get enough of it. So in Graduation Day, we have Sarge and his new recruits squaring off in their training base. The final kind of test before joining the G.I. Joe team gets a rather unexpected surprise. The Corps out there, and they've caught wind that G.I. Joe is fielding a advanced new helicopter yet to be seen, and the Corps want to steal it. So without further ado, Rob, shall we plunge in?
Let's do it. Let's open this.
I got some flack here.
Why?
Well, crotch shot.
Oh.
I know your eyes are on Beachhead, but some other people's eyes were on my head.
This is so beautifully framed, though. I thought it was brilliant.
Thanks, Paul. So this was a sort of pickup shot day that I did solo. kind of nipped out to a location on my own. And the challenges of that are apparent. Like, I can't have anyone puppeteering the action figures while I manipulate the camera. So some compromises need to be made. Not everything is correctly framed as a result.
I love this sequence though. It's just so straightforward. Oh, slow motion.
Yeah, once again, the challenge of not having anyone to operate the camera. Yeah, that's tricky.
And there's gone on the boat.
All clear. Trying to beat your own record, beachhead?
Can't be done, little lad.
Very cunning use of VHS tapes. At least they see the light of day,
Don't
man.
even have painted eyes.
Yeah, does anyone watch those anymore?
True story. This guy really had no painted eyeballs.
He was my favorite.
Our buddy Alistair, who bought it for us, was like, I had to buy this figure. He's the zombie. He was like in a jeep, totally like eyeballing you. His head was turned towards the window flap of the box, eyeballing you with those soulless white eyes.
He was brilliant. And I have to say, like, the humor is really good in this as well. Like, there's nice build-up of, like lines and references back to that as well.
Well, I'd like to take credit for that, but actually it was good old Paul Lopesher.
This was a pickup there as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, all the training sequences were filmed on this. It's actually a BMX track, so it has all these jumps and rollers.
Maybe it would help if I stuck a cat or an old lady.
Love it.
Time to quit, old man.
But it's also good, because I remember you took me to this location. It was quite near, actually, to where the base itself is. And I was like, wow, this is going to look so good.
Imagine those rucks are made of plastic. Works for me every time.
Yeah, Paul was the gag man on this.
Hustle at
He
sci-fi
did some
before he
script
tells us
amendments
to press
before
A to
I
shoot or
shot.
something.
And it actually made for a cool sequence. I mean, I actually wasn't going to do these kind of vignettes of training stuff, just rather plunge straight ahead into the action. And Paul was like, no, man, we got so many good opportunities for comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of harks back to the 1987 movie, except in that it was Beachhead who was calling the shots.
Oh, there's our patented hand effects.
Mm-hmm. Sci-fi getting some payback. Jinx. He just said payback is the same time I did.
Around and have fun. What do you think, this is a joke?
Hey, you can make action figures do planks for days, baby.
Every last one.
No one will give up.
Mm-hmm.
They will win. Oh,
Well, except
Dalton.
unfortunately, Lifeline's knees are really loose, so the action figure's got to sneeze down. Oh dear.
He's cheating.
And mainframe as well.
Cocky recruit.
Oopsie.
Think that you're the best?
Took quite a few takes to get this right.
You
I had to
are
look.
nothing.
Well, am I looking at the camera's
You are nobody.
display? Am I looking at the figures?
for G.I.
Like,
Joe.
you don't want to make
Heck,
the
you're not
Sarge
good
look like
enough
he's
to refer to
hovering.
your old
Yeah.
units.
It was interesting.
All right, you maggots. Get your sorry
I
tails
love
on
that you
that
added
truck
that
and
little
out
sound
of my
effect of his foot.
airspace.
Like as it brushed the
And
sand.
then the mouth sound effects are a staple feature. I'm a little bit disappointed with myself that I've started using actual Foley work, because that's a slippery slope.
Yeah. No, I think the mouse sound effects are awesome.
But then people were like, oh, the helicopter sound effect in Blood in the Water was amazing. I was like, well, I actually recorded that from a Huey. It was like taking off nearby. So clearly it's a slippery slope we are now on, Rob.
Ah, jeez.
Hey, there's Ron Rudat.
Nice.
Who said that? Lift ticket seems
Hey, we got some exposition in the back of the truck.
From now on, using
Our opportunity to like get a handle on what the story's gonna be about, and maybe get a handle on the characters of these Joes as well. Like the '86 team were analogs to the Joes that came before, but they were kind of a tighter unit, and as such, they really shone within their own small number. But here we have
The corpse.
the whole shebang of call, even a cop.
You know they're evil because they have accents.
Well, dude, come on, this guy just screams Eastern European or like East German intelligence operative, like bad cliche.
Yeah, no, he does.
Fox.
We've had an inside man for some time
And they have the
now,
evil
really.
lighting as well.
It's Hades.
Shark will get us
Well, I
to
like the
island base and
multinational
cover
nature
up
of the core. You know,
Yeah.
you've got Brits, you've got Germans, you've got Aussies. I worked in a South African because I just had to. It's action force basically.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a lot more international than the G.I. Joes were. But I mean, G.I. Joe is a real American hero. But these guys definitely tapped into an international audience. Because of the characters and the cheaper price point.
Then it'll be too late for that.
And no bad guys. I suppose you could use Whispering Willie.
I
A day for night shooting.
would not have known this was daytime if you hadn't have told me.
Wow, Rob, you know all the right things to say. What a sweet, sweet man. Hey, now daybreak.
Now it's daytime.
Time for some PT. But wait, someone's watching.
Uh-oh. And yes, the buildings, they are polystyrene.
Featured in a video that came out shortly before this, in fact. My sort of like go-to playsets. Yeah, polystyrene and VHS tapes.
They just made building stuff so much easier. And then you just paint it grey, like we've done here, and it just looks proper.
It could be a military compound, it could be a space base.
It could be anything. We had a lot of fun using.
In fact, we kind of joined them together and made spaceships as well.
Yeah.
Sort of freighters and things. Yeah.
Hey, there's no PTE vehicle.
Looks like the Joes are going on their morning PT. 5 miles with a full combat load, I reckon. You figure their
The
enemies
composition you're
surprised?
listening to right now is Paul Loeb's work.
Ooh.
Always.
It saw its first featured
do now,
use
boss?
in the Barracuda review. It's sort of ominous and underwater sounding.
Sit tight,
It's amazing how like versatile
Eagle,
like
get your
the
team
few
to
tracks
Shadows
that we
then.
have are. I mean, we've been able to use them
Got
over
it.
and over again.
We're moving on
Um,
now.
But Paul, if you're listening, make more music. Which he has done. I mean, he did Blazing Sands as a new song.
Yeah. And the trailer. Now, this was shot in my parents' yard. You know, when you are needing to shoot some additional scenes that don't require perhaps the most expansive vista, just shooting in the back of a garden, you know, frame out the rest of the landscape and just kind of do some close-ups on people's feet and stuff. Yeah, that works.
You could be literally anywhere. I mean, it's good forest work.
Of course, there's a gigantic
Looks like
house
we
just
lost
right
Bridget.
of the frame. But
Army
you ain't
Rangers,
never want to see that.
they were all talk. Double back
Oh,
and make sure
running
he
fast.
dies from embarrassment.
I'll go too.
Okay, one of my favorite
Please don't
lines.
foul this one up.
Be sure to pack
Comes
your
up.
Clippers wetsuit. They should
And
come
it's
in real
wetsuits.
handy.
Did the joke book come standard issue with the cool hats?
That actually wasn't Paul's. That was mine. I was like, you gotta kind of rib
What do
the
you reckon,
Sarge
Leatherneck?
just a little bit because these are competent soldiers. They're not,
Headed into the bush.
you know, his rawhide recruits that he can just, you know, boss around. These guys are the best of the best of the best. They've been through hell. This is just literally like their last little like burst before becoming fully fledged Joes.
Yeah, I mean, they've gone through this all already through basic training in their respective forces, military forces.
What are you doing? Shoot him.
And my other favorite line is coming up soon,
It's too close.
inspired by Paul, but
You better be good, Pajama-Rama. Because if you're not good, you're next.
Shed is such a badass. Can we just have that on the
Yeah,
record?
no, he is. No, for sure.
Think you can drop
We
me
never see his
before I take
face.
him
I
out?
mean, we see his eyes, so he's got one over Snake Eyes. But
Let's
as for the
find
rest
out,
of it,
shall we?
I mean, he could be hiding some serious scars too.
Oh my goodness.
So do you think John Eagle is dead? Do you think this is Beachhead at his most lethal? I mean,
That sound effect is pretty conclusive, I think.
They jumped him. They were armed. It's
These guys were tailing us from the start of the
it's
run.
possible lethal force
He
was
got
used.
sloppy.
Yeah, but I mean,
But I
at
doubt
that point
they
though, like you didn't
We gotta
have to
double time
because
it back to
like
the
the
others
other
and get a
guys had
game
already
plan
jumped
here.
him. But it doesn't seem like anyone else is.
They weren't
worried.
going to tie them up. Like, it's like, when you get back to the base and find out how bad the situation is.
Okay, yeah, it's justified.
Ron Rudat says that it's bad. Real bad.
Rural bird.
You had a problem with that line for some reason, Rob. What was that?
Move into your designated zones.
I can't remember now, actually. Bird, real bird. I think it's probably because it came from something else.
Because the takes were so long. This video melted my previous laptop. So it was a case of like too arduous to go back and make fine cuts. typically your last bit of the process is going back over the footage and making sure that the pacing is right.
Yeah.
Like, make sure that cuts happen as quickly as they can be, because no one wants a long hold unless it's for a dramatic effect. But my laptop left me with very little option in that regard. Once it had rendered to this point, I was like, I'm not going back. I can't. This is just too... It's aging me.
Yeah.
It's literally making me tear my hair out.
And also that's kind of probably what prompted so much more voice sound effects, mouth effects. Because they helped fix things that you couldn't fix because you could not possibly edit stuff.
It would be my greatest
So you
pleasure.
just fill the silence
You just
with...
fill it with little things or like little bits of dialogue that kind of explain like, wait a minute, what happened there?
Nice. Angled armor on the Abrams.
Reload!
Nice.
Quick! Get him again, Sarge!
Hit him again, Sarge.
Hey, that's my best Sholto Copley right there. Love that. A little bit of sun glint and
Oh.
low light. Badass number 2.
Yep, you know Rob filmed that shot.
Totals. Yeah, we're now dealing with the sort of action day, which was like,
But they can't come in.
I need you, brother.
Yeah, and the coolest
You answered the
thing
call.
Some
is that I mean, everything here was filmed at the same place, and also with the landing of the core. Right behind where we are now is an actual training course for, I don't know, for the military or the police or something. But there's a proper training course behind where we're playing, where we're filming
in
this.
trouble.
I thought
Come
that
on,
was pretty
microchip.
cool.
I wonder what they thought of us.
It's
No, I'm joking. No, but I actually, well, no, there were some, like, guys going fishing,
Yeah, they're fishing guys,
and they're like, yo, me bro,
look at
what are you doing there?
You having fun, eh? And then I think they were like the park rangers or something, and they took a bit of interest as well. At one point.
Somebody throw a boomerang at you?
Had to work in the boomerang, because it's just so ridiculous. Of course, the Aussie came equipped with boomerang armament. G.I. Joe and the Corps both made that cliche quite plain.
But at least it didn't work. I mean, it obviously would never work. So here's one of Steven's famous go all the way to where you want to go shots. Just film all the way.
Yeah.
And this is the second one, actually.
I'm sure there were more.
Oh,
Sarge, the helipad. They're trying to steal my chopper. Sarge, if they get air support, we've had
Looking
it.
back at this stuff, I realize how lucky we got with some takes.
forever?
You know?
Yeah?
You know, like, to have one thing happen in a take, you've done well. You know, if it happens as you envisioned it. To have 2 or 3 things, a procession of, like, action, all within one take, it means, like, you've been manipulating the camera with one hand, kind of walking on your haunches across the landscape to try and create that perspective of an action figure, and then manipulating the figure or the vehicle,
Can anybody assist?
Yeah.
or multiple figures or vehicles, like,
There's
there's some tight choreography that happens with this stuff, and while I definitely tip my hat to the guys who do stop motion and green screen work and work on wires, this stuff, this sort of live puppeting stuff, is an art form in and of itself, I'd say.
no, I would agree. I mean, a lot of stuff has to go right to actually get a good shot. I mean, it's also like placement of our hands, trying our best not to, like, get everything in the way.
I'm stoked that Lift Ticket gets in on the action a bit. He's like, get me to the chopper so I can do my job.
Yeah.
But he's not above picking up a rifle and, slogging it.
Get me to the chopper!
Totally.
Pull back. Come on, you two.
I got a bit cringy when I was tendering an Australian accent, because I know we got some Aussie fans. And I wouldn't say my Aussie accent is the strongest. But so far, well, everyone's been very kind. No one said, hey, that dialect work stinks.
That's terrible.
Also nice to see Iceberg getting some action alongside, like, more appropriately dressed ground pounders.
Yeah.
In this episode, he is the heavy machine gunner. He's the guy you need to put in a position to do the maximum damage.
Didn't close his door properly. Jeez.
He's a real cowboy. Not Wild Bill, but, helicopter jockey.
Hey, look at that. That's some
Hard to
coordination.
get that right.
And this also took, I think I remember it took a while.
And the sun was setting, and we were like, "Oh no, we're gonna be filming this in the dark." Yeah. There was a slightly more complex sequence of events that was supposed to happen at this point, but we were like, we're losing the light. Let's just go for an all-out strike.
Yeah, no, we simplified it a lot. But I think it worked out quite well. Nice.
Like, why didn't Dalton shoot those guys?
He's
Watching this again with a sort of a... Ooh, that's torches.
Torch.
Beachhead, they got us boxed in.
Like, how long would it take to get through a tank armor with that?
Ages?
I
Like,
wonder.
you could probably do... Oh!
Be better off with just like an anti-tank
Call
weapon.
in the exterminator.
But I guess they wanted to secure the tank.
Yeah, they wanted to be able to use it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
So what you
This
didn't
chat is friendly
see
fire.
was Fox
Well, I
escaping.
guess that
Yes.
depends.
But we were like,
You consider
it's
Beachhead as
assumed.
friendly?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
if you don't see something happening to someone, you can assume that they're
Oh,
survived.
wait, I lie. There it is. He's in the second tank. Haha. Now, I don't know how plausible it is that you just be able to get in a tank and go. Like,
Looks like the bad
does
guys are
it
making a
have
run for the
keys?
Or in a hurry.
I don't. Wow,
put the
we're
sergeant
gonna have to
boys.
research this.
Too late.
Oh no.
I guess a G.I. Joe training base in a secret location, they're pretty blasé. But they shouldn't be. They should be exercising top security. So, I don't know. It's anybody's guess. Let's not get
We're gonna run these
bogged
jokers
down in details.
Beachhead, you mop up here. Come on, little lad, get on board. Lifeline, you know
Nice.
what to do.
Now we got two guns.
Joe.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm. The machine gun on the one side, the sniper on the other. It's a pretty good setup.
Can't lose.
This was another pickup day. You can probably tell by the lighting. It's no longer sunset. It's in the heat of the day. So I was like shooting in very limited sort of
lifeline.
shade
Looks like we got a live one
thrown
here.
by the
What's
the
it gonna
base.
be? The carrot.
But this is something that no one's actually commented on. Lifeline's wielding a gun.
Yeah.
Okay, tough guy.
It kind of speaks to my own personal politics when it comes to combat medics. But it does fly in the face of Lifeline's politics. So the fact that no one said anything, I guess no one's scrutinizing us that closely.
Oh,
Damn.
thank goodness.
No, it means like people are enjoying it, but they're not,
Well, that's
watching
good.
or rewatching it or like, well, maybe it has struck a few people and they were like, let the G.I. Joburg boys have it. But where I stand on the debate, just so that it's on record once again, is I don't buy that Lifeline is a pacifist. Nothing on his file card says it so. It is a Sunbow and comic book interpretation of the character, and it runs a bit too closely to Doc's. The figure comes with molded gun holsters, and he comes with a pistol accessory.
Yeah, you
That is
can't
not
just ignore
medical.
that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that the toy and file card is canon. He has a gun. He
Yeah.
wields a gun.
Of course he does. No, I totally agree.
Guys, they've got air support.
Where was that all this time?
He's taking a break, or taking his time to get there.
Yeah, I wanted
what I
a chopper
think.
battle. I mean, maybe it was a kind of an extraction order. It's like only come in once we've got the target. Because
Yeah.
if you come in too quickly, you're gonna blow our cover.
We're hit.
Whoa, Stephen,
keep her
which
locked.
helicopter are you handling here?
We gotta
Is it
put
the...
The magic of theatre, or the magic of cinema, I should say, is we could always switch it around in the edits. I mean, it was we would often switch it up, hey Robbie?
Yeah, I know we would.
You
It
take turn
depends
with
on
the
who
Black
wants to
Hawk.
take a shot, yeah.
Well, yeah, who's got something new to kind of maybe throw into the mix? The
And of
shot
course, the Sarge has to do something amazing. Wah! And also, if anyone's interested, that was my mouth effects debut.
Ah.
Yeah, I hope to do those voices.
We'll be back, G.I. Joe.
Will Fox get away?
I don't know. Stay tuned.
Looks like the big fish got away.
Well, the thing is, Dalton, there are always more fish. But it looks like G.I. Joe is getting some top new recruits. You guys performed exemplary, and you did it as a team.
I'm all
Now
choked
give me a
up.
righteous yell.
Payoff to, wetsuit finally getting wet.
And doing something. It's like,
He
I
was
I
just
hope people
finishing
did
up.
think like, where was Wetsuit? Where did he go?
It's got
That's
a
when he
very
went.
cartoon ending,
Yes.
but not, because, like, essentially the bad guy got murdered by, an explosion attached to the hull of his boat with extreme prejudice. But in any case, that brings us to the end of Graduation Day, a very satisfying little mini movie to watch for myself, at least. I mean,
yeah, and just thinking about like how we got to it, that the fact that people helped us figure out, that they donated towards, getting us to JoeCon, and
this was something to show for it.
yeah,
Even if you donated, as Rob says, ephemerally,
yes.
small amounts that, every bit counted, and it counted towards this. This is kind of evidence of that.
Yeah, I was more than happy to make this. I mean, I'm always more than happy to make the videos, but like this was just awesome to make, and I'm so glad that everyone enjoyed it. And it was nice also to be able to make it like a once-off as well. Just like, here you go, guys, this is cool. I mean, miniseries are awesome as well, but like just like there it is.
Yeah, true. I should perhaps do another sort of self-contained 20 or so minute episode.
Oh.
Now that I have a hardware that can support it. Because back in the day of my old laptop, Graduation Day, for instance, was edited in 3 sections. And I had to kind of jump back and forth between each one, kind of working them up to a certain level of completion consecutively.
I'm amazed that you stuck with that computer as long as you did.
I exported each individual clip and then threw them all into one master file and then exported that. And, by that stage, to go back in and make little cuts and stuff... Anyway, I don't... It was a labor of love, and boy oh boy, was it a labor, but there is so much love in it. It was a great way of debuting the Sarge and Team 86. 2 aspects of G.I. Joe that I'm so enthusiastic about, and it seems to have found its mark, because a lot of you folks are too.
Yeah, and for a lot of people as well, it was their introduction to us, I think. A couple of people did say at JoeCon, like, hey, first thing I saw was Graduation Day. It was amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm just really happy everyone enjoyed it.
And I think that's all Steve and Rob have to say.
Yeah, definitely.
About
Paul,
that.
do you have anything to say?
Grits.
Okay, well then.
One of these days he'll join us. Right on.
Cool. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining us, and have a good evening or morning, day, evening, night, afternoon.
Yo, Joe!
Berg.